And just beginning to notice how you can be supported in this moment. So that could look like adjusting your body. Notice whether sitting or laying down honors what you need in this moment more. Notice if changing positions, having your hands in a different spot, relaxing shoulders, if that honors your needs right now. Feeling the support of the earth beneath you, how she holds you. And beginning to notice breath in this moment. Just being aware of the rise and fall of the breath in the body. Noticing where in the body the breath travels to. Maybe you feel it in the chest, the belly, the ribs, the side ribs, the upper back or mid back or low back. Maybe there's somewhere else in the body you feel the breath. Maybe you notice it in the fingers or the toes. Just being aware of how your breath is connecting with the body in this moment. Remembering that breath is sacred, whether you refer to it as Ashe, Awen, Chi, Prana. So many traditions hold the breath as our connection to the universe, as our connection to the world around. So noticing how you can draw that connection in as it flows through the body in this moment. Breathing in and out. And maybe you notice the body begin to settle as your breath shifts into this space. And beginning to be aware of the heart center. Some feel that in the middle of the breastbone. Some feel that in another part of the chest. But the heart center can be anywhere in your body. So notice where your heart is most present in this moment. And beginning to guide that breath to the heart. So today we're going to call in the energy of self-love, making space for healing in this moment. And noticing how the heart is feeling, what information it has for you. And as we begin to envision this idea of self-love, maybe feel into it, notice if the heart is a temperature gauge right now for what that journey might look like. Maybe it has a lot of love to share with the rest of the body. Or maybe it's feeling a little low right now. As we connect with breath, as we connect with the strength of the earth, notice how we can begin to nourish and support the heart itself. In this journey, we're going to begin to move throughout the body. And at any point, if you lose track of where we are, as brains do, it's kind of how they work. Come back to that heart center. Come back to that breath in this moment. Noticing if you're coming back to the heart at any moment, you're not doing anything wrong, right? It's always a good starting point. Even the body itself has so much information to give us. We have a skull brain, a gut brain, and we have a heart brain. So notice how you can tap into that. As we begin to move through the body, starting with the heart, and maybe in this moment, starting with that point in the middle of the sternum. Maybe you notice a pulse. Maybe a green light comes to mind. For some, it might be pink or red. Just being aware of the heart in this moment. Beginning to move up to that point between the collarbones. Breathing into this spot. And then winding your way over to the right shoulder, the upper arm and the lower arm, the back of the hand and the palm of the hands, the base of the palm, and that edge between the thumb and the pointer finger, all the way up to the pinky finger, the ring finger, the middle finger, the pointer and the thumb, feeling into the cuticles, the nails, the knuckles, weaving down to the lines in the palm. One of those is the heart line. So feeling into how our palms connect us with our sense of the heart and the world around us. How we can be loving as we connect with our sense of touch. Moving your awareness from the wrist up to the elbow, the armpit, the top of the right shoulder, the front of the throat, the sides of the throat, the top of the left shoulder, across that left collarbone to the left shoulder joint, down the upper arm and the lower arm, the back of the hand, the palm of the hand, the heel of the hand, and that point between the thumb and the pointer finger. Now beginning to be aware of the thumb, the pointer finger, the middle finger, the ring, and the pinky. All the nails and cuticles, the knuckles, the lines in the fingers down to the lines of the palm. Almost as though you could feel a pulsing, both in your left palm and your right, feeling all 10 fingers, the energy that moves through them, how they connect us to the world around. Moving your awareness up through the wrist and the elbow, the armpit, down the sides of the chest and across each rib bone and the spaces between, down through the upper abdomen, the solar plexus, the belly button and the gut, the sides of the waist, the lower abdomen, over to the right hip, thigh and hamstring, shin and calf, the top of the foot and the sole of the foot, the outer edges of the heels, the outer edge of the sole, and the inner arch, the base of the toes, and that big toe, second toe, third and fourth, the little pinky toe, the nails and the cuticles, the knuckles, the spaces between the toes. Now all 5 of those toes together, moving up through the sole of the foot, all the lines and creases, that connection with earth. Once more through the heel and the ankle, up to the knee, front and back, to the right side of the pelvic bowl. And the pelvis holds sometimes our sex organs or reproductive organs. Sometimes it connects with the breath. So as you breathe into the base of the pelvic bowl, feeling that connection with self. Moving your awareness to the left side of the pelvis, the left hip, the front of the thigh, the back of the hamstrings, the shin and the calf, the upper part of the foot, the outer edge of the foot, the different sides of the heel, the inner arch, the base of the toes, and up through the big toe and second toe, third, fourth, and fifth. All the knuckles and the cuticles and the nails and the spaces between. All 5 toes at once, and then all 10 toes at once. Maybe even all 10 toes and then the 10 fingers. Feeling that vibrancy, that connection with all 20 of your digits. And then moving your awareness back to the sole of the left foot, the lines and the creases, maybe even the calluses that show our journeys through the world. Up through the ankle, the front and back of the knee, up through the glutes, all the way to the base of the spine. And imagining you could send little bits of love all the way up your spine, across each vertebra, starting in the low back, the mid back, the upper back, feeling into the muscles, the tissues of the low back, the mid back, the upper back, even the well of the left shoulder blade and of the right, moving back up through the nape of the neck, up to your head. Remembering we started with the heart and moved through the body, through the gut, before we came up to the head. Noticing how we can guide ourselves with the heart, with the gut, and give the head a little room to take the back seat. Bringing your awareness to the back of the head and the top, the ears and the skin beneath the ears, along the jaw and the tip of the chin, the lower lip and the upper lip, the lower teeth and the upper teeth, the roof of the mouth and the tongue resting in the mouth. Connecting with how our mouths take in air, with how they communicate, how they connect us. Bringing your awareness up through the cheeks, the 2 nostrils, left and right, the tip of the nose, the bridge, both eyelids and eyelashes, the skin beneath the eyes, each temple, both sides of the forehead and the center of the forehead, moving down to that space just above the point between the eyebrows. Take a breath here. Notice what's present. Notice how you can send some loving kindness to this spot. Moving your awareness up just above the crown of the head, as though you could have a connection with the light, with that source of energy that flows through your body all the way down through that spot above the eyebrows, down the tip of the chin, and that space between the collarbones, the heart center, the solar plexus and the belly button, the base of the pelvic bowl down through hips and knees, heels and soles of the foot, and returning that energy to earth. And then imagining you can pull the energy from the earth as though you were rooted and pulling up nutrients, back up through the bottom of the feet, through the knees, the hips, the pelvis, up along the back and the belly button, the solar plexus, the chest, the rib cage wrapping all the way around, the upper back down across to the midpoint, that heart center, up along the space between the collarbones, pulling up through the hands, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, moving up along the neck, back up around the back of the head, down to your breath, down to the mouth, the nose, and then all the way up above that point, just above the head. So this connection flows through you. All the love the universe has for you is present. We don't need to work for it. There's no sense of being worthy. You just are. So feeling into that love as it moves through your body back and forth. Maybe even feeling into the back of the body and how it is nourished by the earth, how it is held in this moment. And feeling into the front of the body, that sense of spaciousness, sometimes that sense of lightness. So the back and fronts of the body are both present. Maybe you're connecting both with light and heaviness. Feeling the essence of those two sensations. Beginning to connect with the whole body in this moment, all of the head, all along the shoulders and the arms, the hands and the fingers, all along the torso, front, back, and sides, through the hips and the pelvis and the glutes, down both legs, knees, ankles, down to the feet, and feeling into your wholeness in this moment. Again, not anything that has to be worked for, just something that is simply true. You just have to receive it, be in connection with it. And bringing your awareness back up to the heart center. Noticing how you can call in that sense of compassion, that sense of love in this moment. Bringing to mind an image or a sensation. Sometimes it's smell or taste or sound. But this awareness of what it feels like to be loved. Maybe it's a place or a person. Maybe it's even a connection with something in literature, in fantasy. But feeling that sense of love that pulses through your heart in this moment. Bringing those sensations to light. Imagine them vibrating and moving through your body. Noticing whatever color resonates for you. That green, that pink, that red. Maybe even a shining white light. Noticing that color expand throughout your entire being. Almost as though you shine with it. Folks who look upon you see your glow. They're a little lighter too. And then drawing in that energy back from the whole body into the heart. As though you are nourishing in reciprocity, moving through the body, through the heart. They're connected. They're loving on each other in this moment. Just feeling into your being. And beginning to notice if other parts of the body are needing a little more nourishment, a little more of that compassion and ease. Imagine you could target this light all around those areas that need a little more support. Noticing how it feels to nourish, to receive that attention. Sometimes we brace against it. So see if you can relax just a little into it. As though each of those parts of the body, each of those places of sensation had their own little mini nest where they could exhale and then once more bringing that energy back to the heart. Moving it through the body in whatever way it flows for you. None of our journeys are the same, but they're complete. Our stories are what they need to be. Making space in this moment for compassion, for gratitude, and a space for healing. Noticing what healing might feel like for you in this moment. How grace can help us accept and receive healing and connect with that sense of love. And as we journey, we aren't minimizing the love from friends, from family, from romantic partners. We're just connecting with that sense of self. And how when we are whole, we show up for those around us in a way that's complete, in a way that's nurturing, honoring our space, our energy, and the energy of the other. Again, cultivating a curiosity about how this feels in this moment. Releasing an idea of how you've done this in the past or how you should do this in the future, but just connecting in this moment with that sense of loving kindness, of compassion. In yoga, we talk about the yamas and the niyamas, and the first one is ahimsa, do no harm. And in most spaces, I've heard that begin with ourselves, how we can be loving and compassionate to self, how we can create ease in the heart, in the body, in the soul. So notice how you can connect with that sense of ahimsa in this moment. Take 3 full breaths in, releasing at your own pace. And now one big breath with the best, richest sigh you can muster in this moment. Beginning to bring the awareness back into the space of the body. Noticing the feeling of the air against the skin. Noticing how the breath and the air around you connect. How they interlace with one another. Beginning to be aware of the weight, the sensation of clothing against the skin, of blankets, of pillows, of the support of a chair or the floor. Noticing sounds near and far. The unique soundscape of this moment. Maybe you even feel into any tastes or smells that are present. Just allowing yourself to notice with a sense of neutral energy. If the eyes are closed, noticing the lights, the shadows, the shapes at the back of the eyes. Even if the eyes are slightly open, just taking in a sense of blurred color, of shapes, without needing to focus in this moment. And breathing fully into your body, into these sensations. When you're ready, beginning to wiggle those fingers and those toes, remembering the vibrance of the energy we sent them earlier. Maybe you circle wrists or ankles, flex or extend the hands and the feet. And if you'd like to take a stretch or move the head from side to side, do that. And in your own time, when you are ready, let the eyes blink open, blending the inner world with the outer world. And before you move around, hop on a laptop, just connect with the world around you. Notice how that loving kindness, that nourishment you focused on for the self begins to connect you with the world in a slightly different way. When you're ready, let the eyes blink open, blending the inner world and the outer world. And so it is. This Nidra is complete.